In this video, it's another used EV test, and I'm especially excited about this one for I've always wanted to drive the Hyundai Ioniq 5, and I finally get my chance. Is it going to live up to my expectations, and does it make good sense used? My friend Alex paid £20,000 for this car, which would have been double that new. It was made in 2022, so it's just a few years old. He even got an extended warranty as part of the deal to buy the car. So surely you can't possibly go wrong. So the Ioniq 5 was launched in 2021 and immediately was one of the more distinctive EVs. Hyundai claimed that the styling reminded you of the original Hyundai Pony, but really, I'm not so sure. It makes me think more Austin Princess. Is it just me? That's the vibe I get. But I have always loved these dot matrix style rear lights. And if I operate the central locking, you see that bottom row is indicators. We'll do a full test later on. But yeah, very clever and distinctive. There's the red tail lights as it wakes up to let me aboard. So very distinctive styling. I'm not sure black is the colour, to be honest, but the black and silver does work quite nicely perhaps. They're very distinctive, but it is very large, much larger than the Kia e-Niro we tested recently. It is a big lump of car. Does it feel it out on the road? Hi everyone, it's very shiny. Before we get aboard, we've got on this one the manual Fiat Barchetta style door handles. Some models could have a big posh stick out electric handle, but of course that's just more stuff to go wrong. They seem to work quite nicely. Similarly, you could get cameras rather than mirrors. I'm glad this one has the mirrors. This is the middle premium trim level. So climbing aboard, and we've got two screens ahead of us. If I pop it into the accessory position, they will fire up into life. So we've got satellite navigation over here. I'll have to do it again to wake it up, and it'll probably tell me off for not having my seatbelt on now. There we are. So now we've got the screen that shows us all the drive information and just the key information you need to use about power usage rather. So we're at 75% at the moment, and it's predicting 226 miles of range. And right down the bottom, you've got a little display that tells you your average consumption as you're driving along. Very, very useful. I managed to get, on the way over here, 4.2 miles per kilowatt hour, which seems pretty reasonable for something that weighs almost 2 tons. Lots of buttons on the steering wheel, and I quite like the fact they light up in blue. Different drive modes here, so we can press that button, and then you can see we've got Sport, Eco, and Normal. So putting it in Eco will gain us another 6 miles. The gear selector is down here. It's got a park button right on the end, but otherwise you twist it to go into your various drive modes. The switch is all over the place. Electronic handbrake doesn't deploy automatically. You do have to manually trigger that. Hold that and the boot will open. Turn off the traction control, probably unwise. We've got a lot of power here. And then we've got some really nice window switches down here. We've got, well, not quite actual buttons, but separate dedicated buttons for the HVAC, your heater and air conditioning, and you can play around with the stereo. Actual volume button, I do like an actual volume button. Dash vents here, currently pumping out some lovely cold air. Hazard lights, yep, they exist. And yeah, like I say, sat nav display here. There's some features I really love, like the glove box is quite deep, and the whole thing comes out like a filing cabinet. I quite like that. That is quite a nice feature. Big cup holders down here. It's a flat floor, so you can actually walk through from side to side. Got some power options there, but I believe it has also got wireless charging as well. Perhaps that's down there. Big storage space. This being the premium rather than the top model, you only get an armrest here, which has actually got a couple of sections on it. There you go. It doesn't move backwards and forwards though, only on the top spec model. Really comfortable seats. Nice to have cloth rather than leather. Far better. Got some switch gear up here as well, so you can turn the passenger airbag off if you've got a child seat in it. Nice mirror. and nice sun visors as well, with hello, me hiding in them, and their own dedicated lights. But yeah, really nice driving position actually. 2-spoke steering wheel I really like, and yeah, not a bad view ahead. Excellent door mirrors, far better than having blooming cameras, and it feels quite spacious and comfortable in the front. Sitting in the rear, and one benefit of being such a big car is look at the space. That's the driving seat set for me. I'm 5'10", so much space, and again a completely flat floor. A couple of USB charge ports here. We've got some vents there for ventilation in the back. That's quite nice. I'm going to open that up. There we go. All this is a grab handle, which I quite like. Rear window test. Oh, pretty good, given there isn't a quarter light. Obviously, got your grab handles there with a bit of soft close on, very nice. And we got an armrest here with a couple of cup holders. And you'll note the seats are actually misaligned. You can actually move the seats back and forth. I have no idea how. Is it this control down here? Oh yeah, there we go. So you can adjust the angle of the backrest. That is definitely too far up for me. That's a bit more comfortable. And again, if you're actually sitting here, you would adjust the head restraint. But I will put that back down to improve my visibility going down the road. But not a bad rear window. And there's further good news, because you can actually move the seats quite a long way forward. And even that's only just starting to get a bit tight. So look at the difference there. So you're extending the boot space. Wow, that is quite impressive. What does that boot space look like? I'm going to move this seat forward, and then we'll go and have a look. So let's open the boot, press and hold on the fob. And the boot opens, because of course everything must be electric. Even the fuel flap opens on the button. Fairly high lip, but not too bad. If I remove the luggage cover, you can see what moving the rear seat does for space. Adds quite a lot, and then obviously they will fold as well. It's quite a shallow boot, but it is a fairly decent size, and there's a bit of hidden storage underneath here as well for your charging cables and whatnot. So yeah, it's a bit compromised by the shape. It isn't an estate, it is a pure hatchback shape back here. No spare wheel, of course. We're just on the can of special foam, I suspect. And down comes the boot. But of course, there is more storage. So under the front, I've actually got front storage as well. It's on gas struts. We've got the your various coolants for your motor and everything. And then in here, full of family detritus, we've actually got a bit of space. But you can tell, I can hear my echo around that. No sound deadening on that at all. But yeah, a useful bit of storage here, much reduced if you have the dual motor version. And unfortunately, that blade is the rear wiper. Yeah, there is no wiper, it's not hidden up there or anything, it just doesn't exist on this generation. The facelift version, which was launched last year, does actually have a conventional rear wiper. The claim was that these clever scoops would direct air down the window, and therefore you wouldn't need a rear wiper. But we've known that's rubbish since Saab unveiled the 95 Estate back in the 60s. It just doesn't work. So Hyundai have relented and have now fitted the rear wiper. I'm going to keep using Hyundai and Hyundai throughout this test while I try and get used to saying it properly. Apparently I'm not very good at that. But you really want to know what it's like down the road. So let's go. Okay then, my screens are awake. I will drive safely and obey traffic rules. Apparently I have to tell it I'm going to do that. Windscreen wiper test. Good overlap, no triangle of doom as you'd expect from a Hyundai. Yeah, no dribbles of disappointment there. Good wiping performance, I would say. That's covered a lot of screen. We've got paddles on the steering wheel to adjust the regen. If I go one more click on that one, it should put me in auto regen mode. It doesn't seem to want to do that until I've put it in drive. Okay, fine. We're learning all the time. There we go, we're in drive. iPedal is on. iPedal allows me to drive the car with one pedal. So as I move away, I've got auto hold on as well. If I take my feet off all the pedals, we come to a complete stop. So you tend to balance the regen by not lifting off the throttle fully. So you can coast along with just light throttle pedal and not actually use any electricity at all. But of course, if you want to, it will go blooming quick. Whoa, speed up. 0 to 60 times about 8.3 seconds, I think, for the single motor version. The dual motor will do it much more quickly than that. I don't know why you'd really want to. Then there's the N version, which can do 0 to 60 in about 3 seconds when tested by Motor Trend in America. Obviously, you generally just drive like this. And it's just smooth, it's relaxing. We're going uphill, not even trying, 60 miles an hour. Oh, lane departure still on, we'll turn that off. And it has also got automatic steering, which is very unnerving. Yeah, it's not, for some reason, the auto steering not working now. Maybe it just can't, oh, there we go. Now it has to be able to detect lines. So if I only lightly touch the wheel, we're coming to a bend, and it is steering me around the bend with no input from me at all. That is quite disarming, I must admit. So 30 limit coming up. You got to have your hands on the wheel or it gets angry at you. So I just lift and coast down to 30 miles an hour. And again, the car is doing the steering here, not me. Quite alarming. If I take my hands off fully, it will eventually get upset with me, apparently. Or maybe not. No? Okay, it's quite happy to drive, apparently. I think we'll just turn that off, just so I don't distract myself further. But yeah, it's just really peaceful in here, really well built. The ride's pretty good. It does sometimes feel its weight. Like I say, it's around 2 tons, depending on spec. Up to about 2.3 tons for the dual motor, I think. This one has a 73 kilowatt hour battery, which, like I say, with a battery at 74% is good for a range of 219 miles. So I just applied the brakes just last minute to bring us to a stop. Just because it doesn't want to brake too hard without my input. And then because it's an auto hold, I can take my foot off the pedal. No doubt my brake lights are still illuminated. And I'm ready to go for a nice quick getaway. It even tells you when the car in front has pulled away in a gentle manner. So let's see if it'll tell me. Yep, there we go. Leading vehicle is driving on. So this is kind of where I think motoring should be. I don't want to be doing gears. I don't want the hassle of an automatic getting gears wrong. I want instant power, and I want good, easy drivability, and that's where electric cars score so readily. I know there's such anti-EV sentiment, but I can only assume a lot of it comes from people who've never driven an electric car. They just want to believe that petrol is best, and there will always be a place in my heart for petrol. I love petrol cars. I can't imagine having an electric 2CV. I like the fact it has a petrol engine. It gives it character, it gives it soul, in the same way that a steam locomotive has so much more than an electric locomotive. There's like a sense of adventure in every journey, but I don't want a sense of adventure every time I go for a drive. Sometimes I just want the easiest way to go for a drive, and electric cars just deliver that. And they're so relaxing to drive, so smooth. It's very enjoyable. I've always liked the Ioniq 5 because it was so distinctive, and not necessarily in a weird electric car, look at me, I'm odd kind of a way. Just in yeah, it's just distinctive in its own right. Traffic ahead, I'm lifting off, the car is braking using a mixture of regen and the actual brake system itself. I can hear it just making a mild noise on the outside as well, just to warn pedestrians who might be visually impaired that I am on the way. But yeah, I really like it so far. The driving position is really comfortable. You're held really well in these seats, really snug. And I can't be doing with leather. I'd far rather have cloth. I think it's a much better solution to seating. It's just so smooth and quiet. You're getting annoyed by other traffic. That Land Rover Discovery making a right old racket. So at the moment, because we've just gone downhill and I've been going quite gentle, it was just saying we were averaging 6 miles per kilowatt hour, but now we're going uphill again, and that has already dropped 5.4 down to 4.7. Really, I think, especially for a lump of car like this, anything over 4 is pretty good going. But the car in front just avoided that pothole. I just drove straight over it, and you heard it, but I didn't overly feel it. Now, the one thing to discuss about the Ioniq 5 is the styling. There is a bit of me thinking, was it so eye-catching and advanced that it's already dating a bit? I mean, I don't mind. I'm not fashionable in the slightest. I'm wearing brown cords, so it's not really a question for me. But maybe that'll bring values down even more. I don't know. But so much space in here. Granted, the boot isn't enormous, but the rest of the car is so large, it's still pretty decent for the family. There we go. We've just driven 3.5 miles at 4.5 miles per kilowatt hour. We'll go a bit further and see where we end up. Oh, shall we try letting it loose in sport mode? That's taking the range down to 212 miles, and I've got a torque display which shows me the percentage of torque I am using. I'll try and get lined up so I'm not on gravel. That seems a little unfair on it. And go. Woo! And that got us up to the limit here of 50 in very short order. Wow. It gets very addictive, that electric shove, even though you know it's going to cost you in range, but it just feels so good. There is absolutely no need for this lump of car to be that quick, but they do seem to like making them accelerate. We've got a test coming on a rather different Hyundai coming up, which will be less potent, and it'll be a long distance test. Ooh, lovely Lexus GS there. And we'll see how that goes. This is kind of why I don't generally film in the southeast of England, because finding places to film is an absolute pain and you just get stuck in traffic. But at least in an electric car, it doesn't feel so bad sitting in traffic. You're not wasting energy because we're just creeping along, barely using any power at all. In fact, I think I'm very slightly regenning at the moment because we're going downhill. So the different drive modes on regeneration, I will talk about this because it was talked about after my recent Kia e-Niro test. Some people say, oh, we should have it in minimum regen so it'll coast better. But in maximum regen, if you apply light throttle, what you're actually doing is minimizing the regen, so that when you want to stop, all you've got to do is lift off and the car will slow down, and if it's got one pedal mode, it will actually bring the car to a stop. So I don't believe it actually makes much difference having it in a lighter regen than not. I think lighter regen makes it feel more like an automatic car, because automatic cars don't tend to have much engine braking, so you lift off, the car keeps rolling down the road. Whereas strong regen is like doing a downshift. It's that extra stopping power. I just like that. I far prefer it. I will manage the regen myself, and I'm much happier that way. Just my personal preference. Oh, back safely on the move again. Yeah, I probably haven't made that implicitly clear yet, but this is rear wheel drive. So unlike the Kia Niro we drove recently, this is rear wheel drive or four wheel drive optionally. You can get a dual motor. I just don't know why you would. I don't think, this doesn't feel like it needs more power. That just can't really be a thing. But yeah, this smoothness quickly gets addictive, and you can't imagine driving any other way. Again, the technology is not working. For some reason the car thinks we're in a 50 limit. We're not. It's 70 miles an hour. It's one of those annoyances that more and more we're being forced down the road of technology, and the technology doesn't bloody work. doing an indicated 71 miles an hour, apparently the same speed as the Ford Ranger. Oh no, maybe they're not doing the extra one. And bit of road noise, but not too bad. Another reason for going for the mid-spec premium, I'm going to turn that off because we got a big bend just there, is you get slightly more sidewall, you get larger wheels on, I think it's the Executive is the top model. You don't want that. That makes the ride more crashy. It is way better to have a bit of sidewall. It helps, you know, a tyre is part of your car's suspension. I don't see why we're so keen to get rid of them. But I mean, you'd be perfectly happy to do some miles in this sort of serenity, wouldn't you? Yeah, we're going uphill, so consumption has dropped to 3.9 miles per kilowatt hour. But then we'll start coming down the other side and it will no doubt improve. We're currently set to 65 miles an hour. And I'll leave it there because I find just taking the speed down a little doesn't make it a lot of difference to your time taken to do a journey. Can make a big difference to your consumption though. Right, we better talk stats because that's what everyone wants in an EV test. Ignore the flickering of the screen, very sorry about that. But I've driven 39 miles and the range has only gone down by 30, oh, it's just lost another one because we're running the aircon. That makes it easier, actually. 34 miles. So I've been driving quite efficiently. This little test, since I had a quick lunch break, 4.7 miles per kilowatt hour. If we go down, we can see after it was last recharged, it's done 90 miles at 4.6 miles per kilowatt hour. And overall, I think this is since the owner bought it, over 1,000 miles, 4.3 miles per kilowatt hour. I think that's a pretty fair indication of usage there. That's more economical than I expected, I must admit. I'm just demonstrating another mode at the moment. If we look at the remote, there's a hold button on the bottom of it. I've just pressed that. The car is now locked, so it cannot be opened. But the dashboard is on, so it's running the aircon, keeping the car cool while I stand out here talking to you about it. That's quite a nice feature. But overall, I have to admit, Ioniq 5, I am a big fan. That is a lovely way to travel. It's so peaceful. We're talking levels of refinement you usually have to buy a Rolls Royce for. Sure, I haven't got the deep leather, but then the leather creaks and actually makes more noise. I'd say that's actually quieter than the 70s or 80s Rolls Royce. And just so relaxing to drive, especially in one pedal mode. It's annoying it won't stay in one pedal mode, so if you turn it off and on again, it goes back to level 3 regen. You have to select it every single time. And it's also annoying that you have to turn that lane departure off every single time. I've tried the auto steering a few times. I don't like it. I don't know what you're meant to do with your arms. It wants you to hold onto the steering wheel, but then you're trying to lift your hand's weight off so you're not affecting the steering. I don't like it. So there's still some negatives purely from the fact that it's a modern car. But overall, I think I like that a great deal. So I shall say, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget you can head to the Hubnut store if you want to support what we do. Don't forget, we've got a giveaway currently going where you can win a SsangYong Rodius for £1. So look for that in the description. And I shall see you in a future video. Farewell.